Hello, dear Lama Sumati.
Hello.
Good to see everybody. Well, some of you, I guess we have such a fluctuating participation, but whatever. Okay, let's start with the mandala. Please make the mudra for the mandala. You all know how to do that, I assume. Okay, I got spotlighted. I like to see everybody. So whoever spotlighted me, can we go to there we go. Thank you. Okay, here's the mandala. Here's the great earth filled with the smell of incense, covered with a blanket of flowers. The great mountain, the four continents, wearing a jewel of the sun and the moon. In my mind, I make them the paradise of a Buddha and offer it all to you. By this deed, may every living being experience the pure world. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niratayame. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the Sangha, the community of realized beings. By the virtuous merit I create from the practice of giving with the understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with the understanding of emptiness, patience with the understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with the understanding of emptiness, concentration and wisdom, may I attain the state of a Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the Sangha of the community of realized beings. From the virtuous merit I create from the practice of giving with the understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with the understanding of emptiness, patience with the understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with the understanding of emptiness, concentration and wisdom, may I attain the state of a Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Sangha, the enlightened side of truth, and I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the Sangha, the community of realized beings. From the virtuous merit I create from the practice of giving with the understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with the understanding of emptiness, patience with the understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with the understanding of emptiness, concentration and wisdom, I will attain the state of a Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. Okay. I've got some cool stuff to rejoice about, but I'll go last. Let's start with Evgeny. Do you have something to rejoice about today, sir?
Yes. Да, я очень хочу порадоваться тому, что я присутствую на этом занятии, что я его записываю и распространяю эту мудрость, которую, возможно, кто-то
Yes, I
посмотрит.
would like to rejoice that I'm recording this class, that someone would watch this wisdom maybe in 100 years and will implement it in their life and achieve enlightenment in their life, or maybe it happens even earlier.
Wow. Well, that pretty much sums up the whole thing. Very nice, very nice. I don't even think of the fact that I could be on recorded 100 years from now. Boy, I don't know. That's a little scary. Very good. That's and by doing this service for everybody, Evgeny, you're setting the seeds for you to get the teachings you need easily available in the future. So very good. Okay, Svetlana, what do you have to rejoice about?
Yeah, I'd like to rejoice that I have opportunities to serve this wisdom. So I had an opportunity to serve Xuanzang Tower classes and now Lamrim classes, and I dedicated that every living being can study Dharma and achieve highest goals, enlightenment for the sake of every other.
Very good. Another comprehensive rejoiceable. Thank you for doing that for the other classes. I continue to be amazed at anybody who can translate me and not lose their mind. So between you and Natalia, I bow to you both. Okay, Jackie, you're next on my screen.
Hello, dearest friends and Lama Sumati. Rejoicing for a few days ago, sharing the time with my dad and my mum in the hospital. It's a very beautiful practice to see those that are unwell and really expands your bodhicitta, just to see and appreciate the service of everyone around, that's from moving beds to serving others that are sick. And it just really lifts your heart to see that and to feel like you wish to be able to help everyone in the world. And it just is a very beautiful moment. So
what's going on with your parents, if you can share?
it's a personal thing from my dad, but
Okay.
it's good that he was able to have a procedure to investigate further to see why he's receiving symptoms.
Well, I hope everything comes out okay. But that's a good point. One, Ken Rinpoche used to say, we all appreciate groceries, but we rarely appreciate the farmer that grew them, the truck driver who brought them to the plant to get cooked or to get packaged, the truck driver to deliver them to the grocery store, the person who shelved it. So you're rejoicing in the hospital for all the things that the hospital does for patients is very similar, and that's very powerful. And that's going to assure you get the care you need, whether it be in the hospital or somebody taking care of you when you're sick or you need help in any form. It's easy to think if you rejoice in the hospital, that's the only karma you're going to get. What you're rejoicing in is getting your help when you need it. Others getting the help when they need it, and that's going to provide the help when you need it. So the help might be you need a computer tech guy to help solve a computer problem. Your car breaks down and someone comes by and gets it running again. It's not it's one-to-one help, but it isn't necessarily help in the hospital means help in the hospital in the future. It could be help anywhere. So very good, very good. Allah Rubenstein. Rubenstein, do you have anything you can rejoice in?
Здравствуйте.
Hello, everyone. Rubenstein, my family, my surname. I would like to. I can rejoice that the whole day I was fighting mental afflictions. I took commitment to observe myself and not to observe others. It means not to think about how I appearing from the side, but observing my thoughts and observing based on the understanding that everything is a projection, that I'm creating reality, and that is my purpose. And it is very difficult for me, and I really rejoice that I did it today. And I can say it was the first time. And also, I helped a little boy. I led him under an umbrella in the heavy rain.
Well, very good. I'm glad you catching yourself with mental afflictions. We can say we understand projections, and we understand them until we come up against them, and then we get mad thinking it's really self-existent. So the first step is to understand the concept of projections. And the second and ongoing step for the rest of your life is to remember their projections, which makes them real and not, that's what makes them really exist. If you get my drift, instead of they aren't coming from their own side, they're coming from you. So because of that, you can change your world. And that's one of the things I really love about Buddhism. You don't like the way your world is? Instead of going, well, I can't do anything about it, you can, you must, you are. You are doing something about it, but it may not be the positive that you want. Because if you don't understand projections and karma and the 4 laws of karma, you'll be generating the kind of results you don't want in the future. So we're doing it anyway. Whether we believe in projections or not, we're doing it anyway. So now the awakening for us is, oh boy, we're doing the projections. Now let's work properly with them to make our world a much nicer place. So very good. Thank you, Ala. I appreciate that. Okay, Jackie. The sisters. Let's start this today. Let's start with Sheila.
I rejoice that in Sunday I start the ACI4 with Lama Sarani, and because Flavia, yes, because I did the ACI 1 and 2 and 3, and then I have to continue with she. So maybe 5 I did with you and with her, the both.
Very good. Well, I'm
Yes.
glad you're enjoying that.
And I am recording in Spanish because Flavia is translating the course in Spanish. Yes.
Oh, excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, Katya, do you have something to top that?
Yeah, the rejoice.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I rejoice that I start doing 4 steps with a friend, and during 1 month we met each other once per week. We did Tartuk every day, and on Friday she told me that she got the result. So I'm very happy about that.
Wow, very good. Yep, it all comes together. Now, whether what you did this week or last week is what caused what to happen, what happened, it's irrelevant. And somebody would say, well, that can't possibly be true because karma doesn't ripen that quickly. Depending on who you're doing it to, it could. And who knows who's a powerful karmic object. So treat everybody as if they're powerful karmic objects, then you can't go wrong. Pretty simple. So don't get mad at all to anybody, one, and do good things for everybody, not just people you think are important. So very good. Natalia, you're next.
Okay, thank you, Lama Sumati. I don't know why you're so happy today, but I hope you will tell us later. For me,
I will tell you later.
for me, I'm rejoicing because I'm organizing a group to study Tibetan in Russian. And we have a teacher, it's a beginners, Tibetan for beginners. The teacher is Leon. What was his
Oscar.
last name? I forgot his last name.
It's
Oscar Leon.
Oscar Leon. Thank you. Yes. And I'm gonna be translating him. He will be speaking in English and then giving instructions for Tibetan. And so I hope I can have some seeds for me to learn some Tibetan.
Very good. Well, that's powerful. That's powerful karma right there. You can't ask for much opportunities, much more than that. About the only thing that would beat that is teaching. So, and you'll basically be teaching because you'll be doing the translating. So very good. Okay, so why am I so happy? I didn't realize I was projecting happy, but since Natalia thinks I am, well, the first thing I'm going to share is one of my students in South Africa she's a mom with 2 kids, and they're young, and sometimes they cause her stress. And so one of the websites or blogs she belongs to had these 10 things that follow the words I am grateful for. So just listen, and I will email a PDF of this to you all after class. I am grateful for, number 1, early wake-ups, which mean children to love, because the children are waking her up. House to clean means safe place to live. Laundry to do, clothes to wear. Dirty dishes, food to eat. Crumbs under the table, family meals. Now, in my case, we don't have kids, but my wife claims I leave plenty of crumbs under the table, so I guess I do. Grocery shopping to do equals money to use. Toilets to clean means indoor plumbing. Lots of noise, children having fun. Endless questions, a child who is learning. Getting into bed tired and sore, I'm still alive. I think those are particularly wonderful rejoiceables. So, your challenge for next class, and I have to write this down because I keep giving my students challenges and forget them. So let me get a piece of paper here. Okay, so I'd like you to say, I am grateful for, and come up with 10 other ones. So I will email this to you right after class, and you can come up with 10 more. And no fair collaborating. So sisters can't look at each other's lists. They've got to be different. Don't frown, Katya. You can do it. Okay. Okay, what else am I rejoicing about? One of my students in class, what course are we in? 4? Yeah, course 4 is a web designer and a really good one. Well, I think she is. Anybody's better than me at it. So I was trying to do it and I was having fun and learning, but what I was doing was needlessly complicated, or so she said. So she dove in, and this weekend came up with a very simple, beautiful design. She took the elements that I had that were pretty clunky and put them into a nice, streamlined, easy to navigate form. I've got translations now, partial translations for all of the 8 languages. I'm very excited about that. So when you come to the site and I'm trying to think of how to have the different languages all present on the opening site, and that may be a little cumbersome. But when you get the next page in, so you click on one of the buttons and it says Spanish. You click on Spanish, you come to a page that's all Spanish. There won't be any English. And on through the rest of the text. And that'll be true for each language, because I think it's a matter of respect that each of the languages, if we're going to translate into Spanish, the whole thing should be Spanish, not just the list. So we're not ready to release it yet, but we're getting there, and I'm just really excited because, one, I've learned how to do enough of this to be dangerous, and 2, it's just really going to be a very friendly and encouraging way to remember and review the courses. It turns out another friend of mine may have the knowledge to generate the game that I'm going to attach to each site, each page also. So, yay. So that constitutes why I'm happy. Okay, here we go. So let's start with the meditation. This is a little continuation of what we've been doing. We're almost through with this part. We'll get into lecture more soon. So get comfortable. I'm getting my timer set up. Okay. Now let's watch our breath for two rounds of 10. I'll count. A slow exhale, slow inhale, and a slow space in between the two. I'm going to try and do it for 10 seconds per breath, so 6 breaths per minute, and see if I can do that comfortably. Here we go. Now find yourself in the golden room in the cabin on the side of the mountain. Sunlight is streaming in through a window that's behind you up high. You're looking out into a picture window that has a beautiful blue sky and mountains in the distance. We're going to wait for about 2 minutes on each scene, so just so you're aware, I haven't fallen asleep. See your heart teacher in front of you, sitting in full lotus, their knees touching yours. Feel them take your hands in theirs. Focus your attention now on the feeling of the touch of their hand in yours. Now see what kind of problems come up in your meditation. Are you thinking of something else, something you have to do, someone you have to talk to later? That would be agitation. Is it the opposite? Are you getting sleepy? Is the object not as fascinating to you? Try to call in the sense of satisfaction, the willingness to stay without moving, just feeling the sensation of the hands, of your hands touching your heart teacher's hands. Okay, you can open your eyes. So, Geshe says at this point relates the story of diamond sorting. When he joined the company, one of his first jobs was to sort diamonds. So you're looking for clarity, color, clarity, imperfections, and you have to lean over a table with an eye loupe, looking at, I think it's a 10-fold magnification. When you're good at this, you might do 1,000 stones an hour. But when you start, you're doing maybe 5 stones an hour. The position is very uncomfortable, but your body adapts. And after a while, you're fairly comfortable, and then they take you to 10 stones an hour. You get uncomfortable again, then you get more comfortable, and they continue doing this until you're up to the highest level. You can't progress to the next level until you're perfect at the current level. We need to look at meditation the same way. 3 or 4 minutes of really good meditation is better than a half an hour of subtle dullness meditation. In the diamond business and in the meditation business, slow and steady, perfect slow and steady will improve to fast, steady, and perfect, but fast and inaccurate will never improve and does not last long. So 1 minute a week is a nice titration, so to speak, of your time, meditation time. But most important is, in my mind, is not looking that you're at 56 or 60 minutes at the end of a year. More important is the quality of your meditation is such that you're getting something done. Because he says lots of 5-minute meditations, good 5-minute meditations, are better than one 60-minute meditation. Now, for me, I can do the source of all my good, or the 3 principal paths, or the death meditation, visualization, and I can do that for half an hour, 45 minutes, and stay on the object pretty well. But that's a review, sort of an analytical meditation, but I'm in a meditation, but I'm moving from window to window or room to room. So in a sense, it's not really the same thing as meditating on one object for 5 or 10 minutes, but I'm getting there. Now my problem is that I tend to fall asleep. And that's something I'm struggling with. And that's been recent in the last couple of years. Well, it's happened in the last couple of years due to one of the medications I'm taking. I need to take that medication, so I can't stop. So I just need to get some discipline and try and stay awake. But when I go to bed at night, I recite the 3 principal paths, and I get about 5 verses in, and I'm asleep. And I'm asleep for the rest of the night. I don't wake up in the middle of the night. I wake up at 6 in the morning. Now, the only trouble, almost automatically, the trouble with that is I've been going to bed at 2 lately. So 4 hours of sleep. Maybe that's why I'm falling asleep. Nah, couldn't be that. Couldn't be I'm not getting enough sleep. Okay, so the emphasis is to make sure that what you're doing is quality instead of quantity. So let's see, what do I want to do next here? Okay, this is going to be, I'm going off a little bit off topic for right now. So with our reasoning, we've decided that things do not exist the way we think they do. The penness that's coming from the pen does not exist from its own side. That's another name. The penness we think comes from the pen is another name for the gotcha. You have two feelings that are coming up and at the same moment with the pen. One is that it's a pen, and that's okay. It is a pen, and you can write with it. There's nothing wrong with that. But mixed in with that feeling and indistinguishable for us is another feeling that it's coming from the pen. The key words here being from the pen. So we want to separate that, that's our goal. It's important to note that it's not because there's no pen there in front of you. It's because there is a pen, but not from its own side. And we keep repeating that, and we're going to keep repeating it until we all understand it. We might even overdo it and say there's no pen there at all, but there is a pen there. It's just not the pen we think it is. So Geshe then talks about people throw around the word self-existent quite a bit, but they've never really taken an object and tried to isolate what it is to think it's self-existent. So Pabonka Rinpoche in the Liberation Thrust in the Palm of Our Hands is warning us about getting stuck on terminology and not experiencing what it refers to. You have to learn to isolate that part of your perception of a pen from the perception that it is a writing instrument from its own side. So let me reiterate. I'm going to go to a class. Let's see what class. This is class 15. And I'm going to go through kind of slowly what we just talked about. So bear with me. If you have, do any of you have this? Do you all have the student notes? Yes? No?
I did send them
No?
in the Telegram. Let me resend
Okay.
them again.
Okay. Don't look for this now, but it's course 15, class 4, page 16. Now, I don't want you to look at it now. I want you to listen to what I'm saying, but that's in English. Unfortunately, we don't have it translated, but, well, Natalia will take care of that for us. Okay. There are two ways that you create mental images or form constructs about things. A construct you construct about the essence of a thing, for example, pen or a car. It's a verbalization and or a concept, the concept of a car, the concept of a pen. You can also have a construct about the features about a thing. For example, blue or long or sharp relative to a pen, or the chubbiness of a baby boy. So there's a construct about features and the construct about the essence of something. And why did my computer just do that? Hang on a minute. Well, this is not good news. What is going on? Oh, there we go. Okay, so the essence of a thing, the concept of a car or a pen, and then the features, long and blue, or in the case of a boy, a chubby baby. So you can construct a construct relative to the basic nature of the object or relative to the features of the object. These are correct, non-mistaken constructs. A third kind of construct is mistaken. To think that the pen is what we call pen from its own side. This kind of construct is ignorance itself, according to the mind-only school, the fact that it is a pen by definition from its own side, not merely a nominal thing, which doesn't exist at all. A pen is not the thing you call a pen from its own side. Emptiness is the fact that there doesn't exist anywhere in the universe a pen that could be called pen from its own side. So here's the problem. We think we understand something being not self-existent. but it's going to take us getting to the eighth or ninth Bodhisattva Bhumi to where we remove that subtle obstacle to omniscience, which is, yeah, I think it's not self-existent, but back there in my mind, I think, yeah, it is. It's self-existent, but don't tell anybody. I still think that. So that's the essence versus the feature. The essence is the pen. The feature to me is the shape of the pen. And we think both of those things are tied together self-existently, and they are not. So I just reemphasize that. So how does that happen? Well, when I hear a student say, or when I think myself, it's my karma, but, well, it's self-existent, but in this case, it's not self-existent, but in this case, it's kind of self-existent. So that's what we're trying very hard to catch ourselves at. So read through pages 16 and 17. If you can read English, read through that. And we'll go over that when we get to course 15, which is a ways away. But I wanted to introduce that idea to you because I think that helps me a lot, because I still try and think, what would a self-existent thing look like? And my mind goes, everything in your room. Because I still think in the bottom of my heart, gun to my head, what do you really believe? Well, I guess I really believe things are self-existent, even though I don't think they are, but I probably do really think it. Because when I get mad, I'm getting mad at myself, which is pretty much pointless. So catch yourself. I think we would all be, if we were completely honest with ourselves, so when I'm completely honest with myself, if I say in the back of my mind, I'm saying, yeah, it's my karma, but not really. I think I probably say that to myself more often than I care to admit. I don't hear myself saying it, but my mind is thinking it. And that's where I've got to catch it. So occasionally, for instance, understanding where my Parkinson's come from, I get it. And even I guess that'd be an example of where I don't have this settled thing where it's not coming from my karma. With my Parkinson's, I know and firmly believe and react to the troubles I have with Parkinson, knowing it's coming from my projections. My sense of smell is partially returned, which is, I don't know if it's unheard of, but usually in Parkinson's one-way direction, things are one direction only. So does that mean I'm getting cured? Maybe. Maybe a year from now, I'll be able to say I don't have Parkinson's anymore. In which case, I'll be rich and famous because I'll be the first person to get rid of Parkinson's through karma. Yay. I'll settle for just partially getting it. If I can get my sense of smell and taste back, I don't care whether I shake or not. So I am going to go to that dance with my wife on Friday. Did I tell you about that, or is that my other class? Oh, there's a dance on Friday, and my wife bugs me to go dance. I don't dance. I can't dance worth beans. But to make her happy, and it might be good for me. That's like eating okra is supposed to be good for me. Maybe it's going to be good for me. But dance, it'll just make her happy. And then if I embarrass her, she'll say, oh, just go ahead and sit down, dear. You don't have to dance anymore. Which is probably the case. She's quite the little dancer. She'll dance circles around me. I'm just going to sit there and shake, but what the heck? Maybe it'll be dark and no one can see me. Okay, I digress. As usual, I digress. So having just discussed that again, the meditation again, let's go ahead and do it again. So get comfortable. Now, this time, I'm going to start a timer and I'm going to speak a little bit and then I'm going to wait 2 minutes. That's going to sound like forever. I'm going to wait for 2 minutes and then speak again. So once I've done speaking, don't go wandering off to what's for dessert or when you're going to run your next marathon. Be focusing on your object. Okay, so close your eyes. Let's count to 10 again. I'll do it. 2 sets of 10. Bring yourself to the golden room on the edge of the mountain, the side of the mountain. Feel the sunlight on you. Look out the window and see the beautiful expanse in front of you. Ask your teacher to come and sit with you. Feel the warmth of their presence. Take the warmth of their presence as the object for this meditation. If you go off the object of warmth, try to examine what the typical way is that you go off your meditation. Okay, you can open your eyes. So, anybody want to volunteer how they got off the object? If you did, if you didn't, yay. But if you did, what's your tendency when you get off the object? Is it to think of what you're doing in the future? Is it a noise? What breaks your concentration? Wait, you're all raising your hand at once. I can't possibly have you answer all at once. I'm going to pick on Svetlana.
Well, my distraction was thinking about myself, like what I'm about to do, what, how do I portray myself, like labeling some ideas about how do I look, or is it important or not? So, and then I tried to switch my attention to warmth body of the teacher, and stop these distractions of thinking of different labels of myself, and like dissolving in the warmth of the teacher's presence.
Very good. Interesting. I think that when I'm successful with the watcher, we've talked about before, the idea of the watcher. When I'm successful there, I've caught my distraction right away. I haven't gone to, I start thinking what's for, and then I stop. And I don't go all the way to what's for lunch, or Or is it going to be nice and am I going to have a good dinner or something like that? So I try and catch myself just after the thought starts. Sometimes I'm successful in that. And I sit there going, oh, good, I caught it. And then another one pops up and I don't catch it. But I don't get mad at myself. I simply say, okay, the next time we meditate, the next time we do this, I'm going to try really hard to catch my mind starting to drift. But you can't catch it so hard. You can't be focusing on that so hard that you lose your object. So there's this balance between the two that it takes practice. It's like anything you want to get good at, it takes practice. And you get frustrated. It's like working on this, trying to learn how to run this website software. It uses the conventions like Control-C and Control-V for copying and pasting, which is great. But then somewhere I wanted to modify the text, and at the bottom of this long menu of things you could do with this object in the text box was change the font. Now that to me, what do you usually have to do when you see a text in something? If you want to change it, it's either you need to retype it or you need to change the font. So if I was running the software, that would be at the top. But I'm not running the software. I've got to just deal with it as it comes up. So, and for meditation, I'm trying to run my mind. I'm not having much success at it, but I need to get better at it so that that's at the top of my list of things to do, is to catch myself before I leave the object completely. Catch myself. I'm starting to drift off the object. I better stay on the object instead of drifting and saying, oh, I'm going to have dinner. What are we going to make? What am I going to make for dinner? So who's next? Katya, how about you? What caused you to drift off, if you did?
I start feeling sleep, like sleeping, and well, that is it, that I can concentrate. So I feel sleep and then come back to the object, but but again I go to sleep and then come back. Yeah.
Well, that's
I
not
don't
so.
think I don't think in anything. I just sleep.
Well, I'm not sure. But beside getting more sleep, I can't think of a way to. Well, Geshe usually says keep the room a little cooler because
Yes.
that'll keep you awake. So maybe if your room's too warm, let's see, you're in Guadalajara. That's down near the equator, so you're pretty warm all along.
Yeah, it's hot here.
So I don't have a solution for that. So in this case, just to me, my advice would be to limit your meditations to a 5 or 6 minute period with a timer and just try really hard. Maybe your first, for the next week or two, just focus on staying awake. As you start to drift off, have something in the back of your mind to bring you back awake. Like you're running the best time ever. So you're starting to fall asleep, and you go, no, I'm not sleeping. I'm running the best time ever. Something like that to wake you back up. It seems silly, it seems trivial, but I think you'll find that after a while, 5 minutes is, you don't fall. Now, you haven't fallen asleep. Are you focusing on an object? Your object is not to fall asleep. So that's one way to try it. Sheila, how about you?
Hi. In the first meditation, I was thinking in the future, the things that I have to do. But in this one, I can stay in the golden room and in the and the blue sky and see the Lama. But the image of the Lama changed. First one face, and then another face, and then another face. this is my problem, that I can't stay a lot of time in one phase.
Well, that's an interesting agitation. Wow. That is interesting. I don't know. What's my answer to that? I'll have to think about that. So what could be causing that? Well, karmically, it's one thing, but in meditation, how would you solve that? Oh, okay. Here's an idea. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. If it was me, I would say, okay, I'm thinking about visualizing Geshe Michael. And I start to slip and my lovely wife's face comes on his body. Well, that'd be weird. But let's say she does. Then as this is starting to happen, I shift to his shoulder, or I shift to his hands, or I shift to his foot. Now you're changing the object in one sense because you're not meditating on his body as a whole, but you're not losing the object by going to someone else's face. So that's probably not the best advice, but that's what I do to begin with. Have a method to keep yourself from going completely off. Make your object Geshe Michael's physical form. And then when parts of it change, you can go back to your object by focusing on the hand or the warmth of the body or the breathing. The breathing's another good one, although the breathing tends to put me asleep as well. Okay, who else can I? Jackie, how about you?
Thank you, Lama Sumati. I remember some of the time I was thinking of the heart for Geshe Michael, thinking sometimes about all the beautiful things that he'd done, because I consider that to be warmth, because it's very warming to remember just how humbling and how much has changed so many people's lives. Sometimes it would be thinking or imagining the heartbeat, because I feel that those sorts of things connect with warmth. But it's kind of flittering around, maybe, I'm not sure, because it's interpretation. It depends on what you consider warmth to be.
Right. Well, that's a good point. It's what you consider agitation to be, or to settle dullness. So very good. I like that. That's shifting, that's keeping the object by shifting the nuance of the object. But I guess if we have to be completely honest with ourselves, that's also changing the object. But we're learning. So to me, go from heartbeat to breathing, breathing to warmth to heartbeat to breathing. I think that's better than going heartbeat, what's for lunch, warmth, I don't like the traffic, breath, what's going to be on my cell phone when I stop class. I think it's better to be the former rather than the latter. How are we doing on time? I think I'd like to end class here because the next thing we're going to do is look at the chart. So we'll do that next class. We'll go ahead and continue on the chart. I owe you this grateful thing, and you're going to come up with 10 more rejoiceable or gratefuls, and they can't be the ones on the list. And you'll have the list and I'll have the list. So yeah, there's no wrong answer. This isn't meant to be annoying or anything. It's supposed to be fun. But if you're sisters, you can't look at each other's chart.
May I share something, if it's okay, not to just share something from the recent experience at the hospital?
Sure.
It's a good example of how self-existence is not there, because I was sharing with my mum that they were finding it boring. They were dependent on television. Whereas I was saying to my mum, I guess in a way, introducing her to emptiness in this kind of beautiful way, that I saw this as a beautiful moment to see all the care that's being given to others, just to experience the gratitude of life. It was to me also, the impermanence of life, how precious life is, and how family were there to care for each other. It was just such a beautiful practice, really a nourishing practice. And for being there for 5 hours, it was roughly around that journey, that it was deeply enriching and it really helps to open and expand your mind and heart. Whereas my parents just found it stressful. Maybe there's some elements of tension because you're waiting, wondering what's happening, but also the fact that I could have patience to just sit there for 5 hours and not to feel dependence on television. I might have sneaked a few times, but just to be a part of people watching television and part of their stories or whatever that they were seeing, but just to sit there and also to give that space to others, because I would have loved to have shared and spoken to some of the patients there, but it's also a matter of, do they need their space because they're having their own journey, or do they appreciate having that kindness for someone to connect with them?
Well, part of the solution to that is to simply ask them, would you like to talk? How can I help you? Would you like to talk? And if they go, no, I don't want to talk. Okay, move on. But I think part of the problem is to be careful not to, like you were saying, to be careful and respect their space. I'm not saying you're not, Jackie. I'm saying you sound like you're sensitive to that. And with your folks, instead of saying, no, you stop watching television, let's do this, you were respectful of their space and tried to convince them, and not to convince them, tried to lead them in thinking about something other than the TV. But the difference is the TV is comfortable. It's what I call mind candy. It's sweet, it's easily consumed. You don't have to think about anything. What we do now when we watch television is we try and find meaningful movies that have some kind of a message. My wife loves romantic comedies. I think I've seen enough romantic comedies, but she likes them, so we watch them. But what's interesting is we dissect the comedy, the movie at the end to see what message it gave us. Sometimes we say no message. Other times we think, that's a really, really good message. We watched a documentary on the comedian Robin Williams, who committed suicide. And it was really eye-opening. I don't have Lewy body dementia. As a possibility, I will get it. There's that possibility. But just to follow his journey and what he struggled with was eye-opening for me, so that I'm aware of when I start to withdraw, I'm aware of that and keep others in mind instead of just withdrawing and being content with myself. So again, we didn't watch it because we thought he was funny. Well, we do think he's funny. We watched it because it was a difficult journey for he and his family and his friends. And I'm trying to learn from that. So I could have gotten depressed over it. That's the emptiness of the documentary. Some people would watch that and go, he's not telling any jokes. Why would I want to watch this? Other people, such as the two of us, were like, wow, this is really meaningful. He had a whole nother side to him that I wasn't aware of. We weren't aware of in his philosophy. So that was eye-opening. Okay, who else? Natalia.
I had the same problem. The teacher that I was seeing was shifting, so I couldn't focus on him clearly. And once I tried to focus on the warmth of the body, it was so abstract for me, so I completely started thinking of when to think about other things.
So warmth isn't the one we want to use from when I think of the warmth, feeling the warmth radiating from their body, I think I interpret that as being like the beam of sunlight on me, that I'm warmth that's coming from in front instead of in back. And that's easier for me to contemplate. Yeah, these are all abstract things. And the touch, I mean, you're not touching their hand, so how can you possibly feel the touch?
Well, I have my hands like this, and I have a sensation of touching myself, but I'm imagining that somebody else is
Well, that's
touching.
interesting. I hadn't thought of that. I usually do it with my hands on my knees, but I could be I'm touching my knees. So maybe that's the sensation. Interesting point. Okay, who else? That's the main students. Ala, were you doing the meditations? I guess not.
Maybe too late in Russia. It's like
Yeah.
past the midnight.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll meet again on Friday and we'll go have the poster ready and we'll start from the beginning with the poster and work up, maybe probably not to the end, but further along. How far? Yeah, we'll get a little further and we'll still do the meditations. So thank you for being here for class and thank you for sharing with me. I appreciate it. I'm gonna try and do more of that because I think it helps everybody hear the problems that other people have. So, okay. Oh, we need to dedicate. May the source of benefit and goodness, the Dharma, spread and expand. May the beings upholding the Dharma have excellent health. May the source of happiness and well-being for all embodied beings, the Dharma taught by the Buddhas, always increase. Please stay in my life. I love you all, and we'll see you on Friday. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Please stay. Bye.
Please stay. Enjoy the beautiful day.
I plan to. Natalia, hang on a minute.
Okay.
Bye bye. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. So what's your experience with Google? Does Google translate cleanly or is it kind of messy?
It depends on the text. So if it's something that is not technical or not specific terms, it's relatively good.
So would it be insulting to try and use that? And then when I show you the page, you can make the corrections? I mean, in your case, we've already done it. But like
Yeah.
for the Romanian, I'm gonna stick with having the students, the translators give me
Okay, so I
the
just learned
translation.
about another, I don't know, this is not Google Translate, so I'm gonna send it to you in the chat and also, so this is a new translator
Oh,
and